always some fails happening, and that's something we have to look out for. But we have to look out for this one as well, because we have the first attacker alive. Kronos is in. We have talked about it, the Root Riders, and they're adding it with Valkyries and the Overgrowth spell in already the first attack.
Yeah, for you guys at home who don't know, the Overgrowth spell is the new spell in the game, and it freezes, stuns all of these defense that will be under the power of this spell. So all of these troops will ignore it and go for the other defenses. Now, he's got the funding created on the south-hand side and on the left with the Queen and the Siege, and everything's powering through already into the heart of this base. Now, the Overgrowth spell is on the Town Hall, so the Root Riders will be pathing a little bit into this compartment, but also all the way around it.
Yes, but the Eagle Artillery was hit by this spell as well, which means it is not shooting whatsoever. And something you will take a look at if you're looking at the time is how the troops are spreading inside the base. You want to have a huge wave overtaking the base in total, and that's exactly what is happening right now for Kronos. The heroes at the bottom side, the core has been taken care of with the Root Riders. The top side is as well taken care of with Root Riders and a Tesla farmer. I think we see at the top side. Hopefully the spectator could show us. I think there was a troll Tesla farm up there to cause some time fails, but it did not work out. 5 Tesla up there, and you talked about it earlier already. Time is so far always on the side of Tribe. They are insanely quick with those 3 stars.
Yeah, they are definitely setting a challenge here for Psycho Esports. They are known for their quick attacks, and they're going in already with really, really rapid ones. And it was really nice. As you mentioned, the Eagle Artillery being stunned there means a lot of damage was relieved off of those troops, which were allowed to do some extra damage. If you lose a few, that's an extra few damage that is missing on the attack.
Yeah, I would have loved to know what the equipments were for that last attack, because this is, well, another thing, right? Like, we know the most common equipment combination for the Barbarian King. I think I have not really seen a single time another combination for the pros is the epic equipment, the Gauntlet with the Rage Vial. It just fits so perfectly that the splash damage of the Giant Gauntlet is getting then buffed up with the Rage Vial effect. So it's just crazy damage, which is obviously really good in a time meta. For the Queen, I think we have mainly seen 3 different equipments. It's the Invisibility Vial. We have seen the Frozen Arrow as a really popular combination, or the Invisibility Vial with the Healer Puppet. Both of those are working great together and having so far a lot of success. But the Warden and the Royal Champion, those are typically the heroes where we see a bit more variety. And it depends as well on how much the pros have invested into those ores to upgrade all of those equipments.
Yeah, it is quite pricey to level them up. So when you do see maxed equipment, I know how much effort has gone into getting those maxed. But yeah, as you mentioned, you do see quite a variety. Sometimes we have the Rage Gem with the Warden, which means everything's doing some extra damage. It just depends what the player likes to do, to the way that they specifically play to get as much damage down as possible, because that's the name of the game at the moment. And they kicked it off with a really, really quick one. We have to wait and see if Psycho can do the same. I think Psycho, they are a little bit slower. They have been from the stats that we saw. So let's see if they've upped their game since the group stage.
Yeah, and especially now with the pressure which Tribe is putting on them with not only a 3-star but as well a really quick one, we have to see how good they can perform star-wise, because their average is like 13 stars, a little bit above that. So they're not even, most of the time, hitting those 15 stars. So can they now do it in this important match versus Tribe? They're starting off with the Root Riders as well. The deployment is not as quick, which feels strange to mention, but I guess you have to at this point with the Root Riders. And they're not pushing in. Would be amazing if we could see the equipments on the heroes now. And the first Rage is already in. The War ability will be used closer to the core, I guess. And then we can figure out if he can make it all the way. But so far, the spread of the troops is not looking that good, I think.
Yeah, everything's bunched up here in the middle of this base from Rakires. They were a little bit slowed down by those Clan Castle troops. The triple ice golem is a favorite at the moment because they do freeze all of those troops and hold them in place of the damage. Now he's healing up all of these troops as they approach the town hall, raging them up there as well. The tornado trap will be slowing them down. A bunch of more traps in there, but there is the invisibility spell tower going off in there, making the town hall invisible, so the town hall's still standing at the moment.
That's right, but there's a couple of Root Riders which were raged up, taking it down. So just by the looks of it, I guess we have the classic combination on the Barbarian King. So we just do now the work. We actually saw the Royal Champion shield and the haste spell, so we know all of the equipment now. Barbarian King, Epic Gauntlet with the Rage Vial, Queen was the healer puppet with the invisibility, Warden had the Eternal Tome and the healing tome as well, and the Royal Champion with that Seeking Shield and the Haste Vial. This is another thing, right? Like with the Haste Vial and Seeking Shield together, there's a lot of damage output as well. This is something where the pros are like doing different combinations because the Royal Champion has the option of choose and pick between a lot of different really strong equipments, which all affecting the time. We have the Haste Vial, I think, being the most used overall out of all of the equipments, but then the combinations are like different. So we have the Seeking Shield dealing a lot of damage quickly. We have the Royal Gem, which has the passive stats with the bonus damage, or the Hog Rider puppet, which can spawn the hogs, some protection, some bacon, but as well some damage of the hog as well, which is then adding up.
Yeah, it does depend on the base. It depends on what's present. You don't want to be using those additional hogs if there's a lot of splash damage where the Royal Champion will be going. But if you can pick a good corner that does have a lot of single point, those hogs can be very valuable. Will also help keep the Royal Champion alive longer, because that means these defenses are going to be distracted by the hogs and they won't be targeting the Royal Champion.
Yeah, especially the merged cannon, like the ricochet cannon. If that thing is going to attack your Royal Champ and then it's going to bounce to your Fox, that's like the biggest nightmare. So have the Hog Riders in front of that Fox to make sure that you're saving the hit points of the Fox, and the Royal Champ can turn invisible and invisible and again invisible. Like, it is non-stop DPS, which is then provided by that hero, which is super crucial. But so far, both teams with the first 3 stars. The time, though, is on the side of Tribe, and that's by quite a bit, I think.
Yes, it was definitely a bit quicker on the Tribe Gaming side. Let's see if Psycho have... I know they have some base builders on the team, so let's see if they brought in some tricks to slow them down. But they were very fierce so far. I think they had the quickest attacks overall, some of the quickest attacks that we've even seen outside of this tournament. So they're definitely one to fear, that's for sure.
That's right. On the other side, though, the Tribe defense has not been the greatest, though. But you have to as well say that some of the teams did not play the qualifiers. They just joined with the group stage, which means there were better teams in there now, which is then like, well, messing up the stats a little bit, because for the other teams, it's like group stage or qualifier and the group stage together. So we have to see if now Tribe can get a few more defenses in. But for now, I think they're up next attacking, and it's Rikira's time, and he is still going with the Lalo. And so far, Rikiris is on Tunnel 16, still perfect with this account, which means he has not failed yet. I hope I'm not doing the Carbon and like jinxing or anything, but let's see what he can do with Lalo and how quick he is, because Lalo at this point is not about just the classic 3-starring and everything. It's about multitasking, because you need to do quick 3 stars.
Yes, you used to see a lot of queen charges with Lalos. Now we don't have time for that, so a good alternative is to do those Zap Quakes. Now we cleared off the enemy queen and the Monolith, a few nearby buildings in there as well, so getting some nice value, and he's got the Lalo coming in already with the Warden. We're probably going to use that aura, the Warden Eternal Tome, to get the Blimp towards the heart of the base, get that Town Hall down, whilst all these loons will continue to the nearby compartments. We got some Yetis with the Rage, will secure the Town Hall in the middle of Ghost's base, and the second portion of the Lalo in from the 12 o'clock side.
That's right, the loons are coming in. We have, again, common combination. The healer puppet is getting activated, so the healers are spawning. They're switching to the queen or staying on the queen, with the loons now engaging towards the last Inferno Tower. The time is looking good. If the last couple of defenses can go down, the queen cannot reach, so she has to go through the wall, which takes some extra time, but minions are everywhere, and this is going to be indeed a 3-star with a really good and solid time yet again.
Yeah, another quick one on the board. Rikira's getting it done with Zapquake Lalo. I think these two strategies are the favorites at the moment. The Zapquake Lalo and specifically the Root Riders. So we'll be definitely seeing a lot of those. We'll just have to see where the value can come in. And as you can see, getting that Monolith down the enemy queen, that is huge, because she can pick off a lot of those loons from the sky.
Yeah, especially like from knowing the old meta, where you had typically like the hero dive, heroes going down, Then the really good Lalo attackers were already starting, kind of where the heroes were somewhat alive. At this point, Rikira is just starting as he's deploying the heroes, and this is then why in the end it's looking kind of closer in regard of how many loons are left, but that's mainly because he has to speed things up because of time. Otherwise, I think he could have probably done a lot of swagging, but it's about time, and this is where then the pros are not doing swag challenges anymore, and instead really trying to optimize their attacks.
Yeah, I mean, Rikiris is known. He does really nice attacks, and he did perform that well. At the moment, it is a lot about multitasking, as you said. He's doing things at the same time, not as you usually would with the hero dive or the queen charge first. So leaving some extra defenses up whilst the heroes are taking them down will do some damage at the same time to those loons, but he's able to manage it correctly to make sure that he does have sufficient loons up towards the end to make sure every single building goes down. Because that's where I think a lot of some of these attacks fall short, is because everything's going in at the same time. Sometimes they take too much damage, and then you lose a lot of those troops, and then there's not enough to power through.
Yeah, and especially there's always a difference between having multiple stages at the same time and what the pros are doing right now. They're having those different stages at different places. So typically you have, for example, the hero dive and right next to it the Lalo part, which means it's starting at the same time, but it's splitting up the damage of defenses which are located in that area. But with what they're doing is they're having like the hero dive on one side of the base and then doing the Lalo on the other side, which means the same time hero or defense split damage thing is not really the case anymore. They're not really taking advantage of that because they have to do it from different sides to really make sure the time is on their side in the end. And I think especially with Lalo attacks, you can really see the true skill of some of those players. With now the next attack in, we have the Root Riders again, if I look correctly, with quite some victories, and it's a box base, it's a different style of base, which were quite popular in the beginning versus the Root Riders in Legends, until people have figured out how to approach them now instead. And well, let's take a look at that. We have the Healing Tome with the Eternal Tome on the Warden, and you will use that probably really soon.
Yeah, we had some Zap Quakes on the left-hand side. Now, Burger Boss is bringing in quite a few Super Barbarians, so that will help clear out some of the outskirts of the base. I think we got that Siege Barracks on the north, which is clearing everything out and hopefully get some troops in towards that Town Hall compartment. Now, everything's quite slow at the moment, powering in towards the heart of the base. Now, I think we had some Ice Golem CCs maybe freezing them. Now we're finally on that Eagle Artillery, getting that down. It did quite a bit of damage. And no more heal spells or the Warden Healing Tome to help get some additional health back to these Root Riders as well. They're getting picked off by some of these defenses on that left-hand side.
Yeah, adding the Royal Gem at the bottom side because he's convinced that the King can get the tunnel, which is exactly the case. Take a look at that. If you have not unlocked the Gauntlet just yet, do it. It's just so strong. On the Barbarian King, it's insane. Getting the Town Hall through the wall with that Barbarian King, it's going to be the 3-star for him. The Royal Champion with her equipment speeding through the base, and it's exactly 1 minute and I think 29 seconds on this one. Getting that 3-star. In the end, it looked kind of slow, as you said. I think the Ice Golems especially stalled the attack in the middle part. The Siege Barracks did not work as planned. I think the troops were skipping the Town Hall for quite some time. But hey, the splash of that giant gauntlet equipment, getting the Town Hall through the walls pretty much, made a huge difference.
Yeah, that King ability is one of the best in the game. If you're not using it, as you mentioned, make sure to put that on and level that up, because it really can be the difference between getting that Town Hall down or not. As you said, he sent that Royal Champion in on the south to clear up some more of those defenses because he knew the King could get it done on his own.
Yeah, and especially we have to as well talk about then maybe some tips for the ores for some of those equipments, because some of the equipments are actually really good when you just level them a little bit. For example, the Gauntlet obviously gets stronger with every couple of ores you put actually into it, but you can already use it on a quite low level compared to some of the other equipments, even if you have them highly leveled, because the base ability already with like increasing in size, taking less damage, and just having the splash is already just so strong that you don't really need it on like level 27 or something, which costs insane amount of ores. So already if you have it on a level 5, 9, whatever, like on the lower level in general, it's already good to use. So don't worry about that if you compare to maybe level 15 barbarian puppet or something, it is just so strong that you don't even have to invest that many ores into it, compared to then some other equipments we have talked about, the fireball, where you really have to put the ores in to make it useful to one-shot those defenses with 1 or even 2 earthquakes. Otherwise, before that, it's not that useful compared to something like the Barbarian King Gauntlet.
Yeah, there are a few that are like that. Of course, every level that you increase, it does do some extra damage. But yes, the Gauntlet is strong very early on. A few others are very well known in there as well. I mean, the Queen, the Frozen Arrow, is a favorite at the moment because I think that just slows down as much damage. So not a lot of damage comes in on the Queen. Helps keep some of those Root Riders alive if she's coming in next to them as well.
Yeah, I think overall the top 3 have to be for sure for the Queen, with the Healer Puppet as well. Would you have seen the latest attack? But now Exorcist is in. Can he keep up the time of his team? That's the major question. We have the Root Riders again. We have again the Healing Tome with the Eternal Tome on the Warden to keep those troops alive. The early activation, because remember, the healing effect of the Warden is lasting 25 seconds. That's a lot of time. Otherwise, completely classic combinations of the equipment on the heroes, while the Overgrowth spell is then on that Town Hall, covering it and making sure there's no damage in return whatsoever, and the Royal Champion with the Seeking Shield again for more damage output.
Yeah, everything's pathing around that Town Hall now because of the Overgrowth spell that Exorcist used. Now, the Eagle Artillery is still doing some damage on these Root Riders, but they're still looking good. The King still has his ability there as well. We have the Royal Champion with the Queen clearing up on the left-hand side. The enemy King is still going to try and defend, slow down a little bit on the south-hand side, but this one was, again, a quick one. This one just over a minute from Exorcist. Another triple on the board for Tribe Gaming.
That is crazy how quick they are. There was even a Electro Dragon in there, which was nice for funneling and already dealing some damage. And this is like the thing, they're trying to pick the most high damage troops, I guess, next to the Root Riders, with the Splice of the Valkyries. They're really solid. The Root Riders itself, they do crazy amount of damage if you combine them. And then the Electro Dragon, which has a really high DPS as well. Trying to take advantage of maybe like outside storages or some nice chain value overall. So really nicely done, and that's another 3-star for the Tribe, and the time is really on their side, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact stats of the time, but they seem to be a little bit in Tribe's favor there on the speed of their attacks. It is nice to see, though, as you mentioned, those Valkyries in the mix there. Valkyries have not been in the meta for quite a while now, though.
Yeah, but I feel like some of the troops are just getting highlighted so much, or getting, I don't know, buffed so much with the Root Riders close by, because their weaknesses of not getting through walls or something is just so beneficial to those troops. The same thing for the heroes. I feel like the heroes are playing a big part in the strength of the Root Riders, because the heroes, if used correctly and used correctly with the right equipment, can just have so much impact. And if those troops, or like those heroes more like, do not really have to worry about any walls, that's a huge game changer, and that's exactly what's happening for the pros right now with this troop combination.
Yeah, the Root Riders just storming the base. They don't even mind what level that those walls are. They're just taking them down. Nothing can stop them. Only those Ice Golems and those Clan Castle troops can slow them down, but pretty much they don't stop them. So it is quite tough at the moment, specifically for the base builders. So when we do get a defense, or when we do get a slower attack at this level, it does show that they put some extra work in to make sure that they can do as much damage as possible and as much slowing down as possible as well.
That's right. And well, we have hopefully the next attack then happening really soon, this time again for Psycho Esports, and they have to stay close. I mean, not only 3-star wise, that's the obvious one at this point. It's more about the time, because I feel like so far Tribe is literally running ahead of them with the time, and they have to do some really quick attacks to stay close, and that's always something in the current meta, especially with attacking first. I feel like so far in most of the metas it was always like attacking second. You had a bit more control because you could always react to whatever the opponent is doing. But right now, if you're having a team which is just like doing so good on offense like Tribe is, with like really solid times, it can put so much pressure on you, and it can force some mistakes as well, because you have to do some crazy risks to actually speed up your attacks even more, and that's kind of could possibly happen on this one. We have again another Root Rider attack with the I would speculate again, classic combination when it comes into equipment, that's exactly the case. And they're using the healer puppet again, which is a little bit slower compared to some other options. And we have the Royal Gem and the Haste Vial on the Royal Gem.
Yes, indeed. And now we've got the Root Riders coming in already on the 130 side. They're going in towards this multi-inferno compartment. Now, he does see that the enemy queen is standing there on Kronos' base, sends a few headhunters in to get her down, whilst that Warden Eternal Tome is going in, as well as the Healing Tome. So any damage that these Root Riders took, they are regaining it before pathing towards some more of these defenses.
That's right. The Invisibility Tower going off. The Queen taking a lot of damage and going down. She did not get that Town Hall because of the Invisibility Tower behind the Town Hall. And now it's all about the Root Riders. And they're in a lot of damage right now. The Royal Gem trying to help, but the Town Hall is really far on the back, and he's relying now on the strength of the equipment of the Barbarian King, tanking and dealing the damage.
Yeah, he's taking down that monolith. He will be taking quite a bit of damage still from those Town Hall beams, and because he can't reach over these walls at the moment, he just has to wait and be patient. He has to go through. There is still a scatter shot there on the right-hand side doing some damage. He goes to revive. The Royal Champion is still present with her ability, which will be nice because that will speed her up, do as much damage as possible. Does the invisibility spell tower go off in time? Unfortunately not. Royal Champion gets it done. Cleanup is due. 1 minute 20. This is a little bit on the slower side, though. Oh, the Royal Champion went down, though.
Wait a second. The Warden is running ahead, and this could actually be a defense for a tribe. We have the Valkyries trying their best, but the Warden is going down. There is the Tesla protecting the Scatter, and indeed, we have the first defense. And this is for Kronos. I mean, it's a 98%, but the defense in this meta right now is already crazy enough. So 98%, I think anyone would take that with being quite happy. And the Wizards are working together as a team.
Yeah, you can see that Fox there, right, where that Town Hall was. If the Royal Champion had the Fox still alive, it could have been what made the difference here. Those two buildings standing here on Kronos' base might be what sways the war completely over for Tribe Gaming in this one. The Fox is very valuable, making that Royal Champion invisible. She wouldn't have taken damage if she was invisible at the time she reached that scatter shot.
Yep. They're working exactly at the same time with the Wizard shots, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, they can get through the wall at the same time, but it's not going to be to be the 3-star. It is the defense instead. So Tribe now has the lead on stars and on time, and this is exactly what I was talking about with putting up the pressure on the other team, kind of forcing them to do those mistakes because they have to do quicker attacks, or they just have to stay close to the first attacking team. And well, that was something to see here. They were not able to somehow manage the pressure, and now it's all up to Tribe.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see in the stats, 9 stars to 8. Percentage is very close because it was just those two buildings. Heartbreaking to see it just be two buildings standing there, but it is two very important ones. But even if they did manage to clutch it up at the very end there, it would have been a really slow attack in Tribe. They've been flying through these bases at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and this is always something which can surprise anyone, because the pros make things look easy. Yes, I know, Mass Root Rider seems to be like not maybe the hardest attack to execute, but if you're progressing through Legends, for example, there is a clear difference right now between something like close to 6,000 trophies, someone who's doing this attack, and someone at like 5,500 trophies. It's insane how big the difference can be. And now we see Tribe yet again with their attack and their equipment combination, the classic one. The Overgrowth spell, yet again, they really like to do this combination for the Town Hall and the back end. I think he missed the Monolith, that's why he's trying to freeze it now. But, well, now it's all about the Root Riders and their pathing with the Royal Champion approaching from the left side.
Yeah, Yo-Yo's Root Riders, they made it into that Town Hall compartment really, really quickly. The good thing is that he did also have, as you mentioned, that monolith still standing on the left. He had the skeleton spell to try and distract. Now, the enemy king is also present on the left-hand side, which might be a bit problematic. World Champion does have some headhunters for support, and with a rage spell, we'll be trying to get as much down as possible. The World Champion ability goes to the Seeking Shield, the haste vial going off there as well. The final frozen spell here coming in to freeze the scatter shot and the town hall, and Yo-Yo gets it done. Pretty much all of his Root Riders still up there. They did lose a bit of health, but Yo-Yo gets another triple on the board. So even if Psycho triple it up on the next one, they will still have the advantage.
That's right. At this point, it feels really not the nicest position to be in for Psycho Esports because, well, they're behind on so many things. Stars, as we have mentioned, the time as well, obviously the percentage because of stars, but well, all they can do is just hope for a miracle and maybe a fail from Tribe. The first fail in this tournament. I think we've tried now everything possible in our power for jinxes and stuff to give them the chance of a comeback, but nothing more we can do at this point.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they've showed that they can be very consistent in getting those triples down and getting them down quickly. So I don't know if we're going to see one. If your Jinx is strong enough, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, if we have some people here that Jinx, then they need to show themselves if they want Psycho to win at the moment, because Tribe, they've just been so strong. They're very consistent, and they're probably one of the best teams out there. And they just have a little bit of an edge. You can see that even though that all these pro players are doing really quick attacks, they just have the edge on all of them. Their attacks are just even faster than a lot of these other people out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. And especially if you look at the attack of Yo-Yo, it kind of looks like he put just everything in one corner. And somehow, compared to then the other attacks, which we just have seen before, where the attack failed, it kind of looks the same. And then you just have to take a look at the spell usage and placement, which is quite important on this one. And sounds obvious, or might sound obvious, but this is going to be then, in the end, be the difference maker between a fast attack, a 3-star attack in general, or just even a 2 or 1-star.
Yeah, it's all about supporting the Root Riders at the end of the day. I mean, when I was watching that beginning of the attack, I don't know how, but his Root Riders, they just took them a few seconds and they were already in the middle of the base. So it's all about getting the push that they need to go to as many defenses as possible, and the overgrowth spell is pretty nice to stop that damage as well, to make sure that they can clear up all of the defenses, which sometimes can be scary to leave that town hall up for later on in the attack, because back in the day, or like even last season when we watched everybody play in like the last championship, you wouldn't want to leave the town hall for the last building.
Yeah, I feel like maybe because the town hall explosion, more like the town hall poison, is one of the biggest enemies because the Root Riders are stacking up so much. So that could be one of the reasons. But hey, let's take a look at this next one, which looks... this base looks really interesting with a double Invis tower around the town hall. Okay. What is going on here? But we have the... Is it the hero dive for the... No, okay, there goes the Root Riders. But they're already 15 seconds late, which, well, it could be a difference maker.
Yeah, that could be the difference on this one. But Anthony had that log launch. As you mentioned, those double invisibility towers could be problematic, but the way to counter that is by using these logs that are thrown forwards, which will activate them. And as you can see, the Root Riders, they don't have a problem with them, making them pretty much void at this moment. The Warden Eternal Tome and will help protect them further on to the attack, help get some additional health back. We have a little bit of a split, a few of them going for the Eagle Artillery, but the main portion is going for that scatter shot on the right-hand side.
That's right. The healing effect is still ongoing from the Warden. And now it's all about the back end. There's 3 key defenses, which all target single, or like can really do a lot of damage to single troops with the monolith, the single inferno towers. But there's a skeleton spell, and that's like the weird thing, right? Like such strong defenses, and they just get countered by the small little skeleton spell, and they cannot really do that much anymore. Skeleton spell though running out, and this now is the question: if this really weird looking base can defend.
Yeah, the good thing is he has the Royal Champion in from that north-hand side. One final freeze, which he does use on the single Inferno since that Monolith is about to go down. Diggy is also still up, which will be able to stun some of those defenses. Royal Champion, she's on cleanup around the outside with the Fox. Queen still has her ability now. We are already approaching that 1 minute mark. I think it should be enough. The enemy Queen is still down here. Now we've got the Queen ability going off, giving some additional healers, and they power through these last few defenses and the enemy Queen pretty nicely. It is a slower attack, but at the moment, Psycho Esports, there's still those 2 buildings and that 1 star behind. So getting a triple on the board is what matters the most, and they have to hope for a defense.
That's right, they have to hope for a defense, even though I feel like the attacks so far of Tribe have not really looked like they know what a defense or a non-3-star is. But, well, they just have to hope for it. Psycho has to hope for this non-3-star of Tribe. But I guess they will just keep going with the Root Rider approach and keep combining with the Overgrowth spell, which has been so successful. I think creating this pathing, avoiding the Town Explosion and the poison early and having it on the back end, for them so far has been a really good success story.
Yeah, it's been really good for them at the moment. And as we mentioned, I mean, we talked about the hero abilities already. I want to briefly mention some of the pets for some people who don't know. The Fox is the newest pet in the game, which is very, very strong for the Royal Champion because it keeps her invisible, makes her invisible over and over again. Now, the Diggy is also a favorite, but we have transitioned from the Diggy to the Fox at the moment, but the Diggy's always strong to have in your army comp, especially with all those single point defenses at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. You can combine it now with different heroes. So, for example, in the main push of the Root Riders. So combine it, for example, with a Warden is always a nice option to do so. Then you have some other pets still for the other heroes, like the Phoenix is a really solid combination for the Baron King. Unicorn and Queen, I think, has been a dream combination since the Unicorn has been released. So I'm not sure if this is going to ever change. I feel like people were expecting, including myself, that this could possibly switch with the like new defenses, the splash damage and everything, but it has not really changed. So it's still staying with that combination. And we have the Root Rider again versus this type of base versus the Ring base with the Core Town Hall, and the vulnerability has been used early on again.
Yeah, the deployment on this one reminds me a lot of like Electro Dragons with the early Warden ability, and then also the double Rage coming in, making sure that all of these Root Riders are getting as much damage down on the board as possible. We've got cleanup on the north and on the right, which helps with funneling a little bit to make sure that all these Root Riders go in to clear out these defenses. Now, again, they're bypassing the Town Hall. There is a Tornado Trap holding them in place. The spell will alleviate all of these defenses soon, and they shall return. Hopefully in time, those Root Riders can then return back and get that Town Hall down.
But he is missing the Town Hall with the freeze, but he has the Baron King ability still left, which he's going to activate to take down the core. And it's going to be indeed the next 3-star with the Royal ability still there as well, using it to activate the Haste Vial to have even more attack speed. The Queen with her Healer Puppet as well in there. And indeed, it's going to be another 3-star yet again below the 1 minute and 30-second mark, which is crazy. Tribe is they just keep getting those 3-stars below the 1 minute 30-second mark. And it seems like nothing is holding them back.
Yeah, they just keep bringing it in, triple after triple, but they're just so fast and they make it look so easy. Honestly, at this point, we need to remove a hero from them or something. They're just too good at the moment, and they just keep showing us in every single attack that they do.
That's right. Getting the support of the Root Riders for their heroes and just pushing it through, especially as well with the Overgrowth spell. I feel like we have highlighted it already a lot, but I feel like this is such a key thing. So if you're playing Root Riders yourself, this is for sure something you might want to look into if you have leveled it up. Or I think even already on level 1, it should be kind of solid of just taking away the damage off the core. I think especially with those core town bases, it can be really helpful. And if you're taking like other style of bases, you can really nicely like move around of how the Root Riders are pathing with turning something invisible, obviously freezing it up, like everything what the Overgrowth spell does, and really having more control in your attacks. And otherwise an attack which seems kind of uncontrollable, I guess, with how many Root Riders are going everywhere and doing whatever they want. So that's for sure a really good spell to pick up.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see how all these players are also learning from each other. I'm not sure who did it first, but we didn't initially have the overgrowth spell in combination with the Root Riders. And some people were saying, oh, I don't think we'll be seeing it that much. It's very specific. But at the moment, it is a very popular spell to combine with those Root Riders, depending on what base that they're attacking.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think for other strategies, I'm not sure how much use cases it would have for those. Like comparing it, you already said it with like Elect Dragons. I think we don't see it really often with that strategy, for example. Queen Chargers, I mean, those attack strategies still exist. They just don't get played so much anymore in the pro scene. I think for those, it can be used, but maybe not as useful. It's I guess time will tell. It's like one of those type of spells which is people have to figure it out. As you said, like in the beginning, not that many people have used it, and now people have slowly figured out how to use it with the Root Riders, and I guess the same thing has to happen with other strategies.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Supercell keep giving us new toys, and these pro players are still finding out really nice ways to combine them. And as you can see, that there's just one way of just combining them, but also seeing how that they can take the advantage. And right now with these quick attacks, they just that few second difference by using some spells here and there can be the game changer. So we'll see what happens in the next attack coming in. Ghost is up, more Root Riders, no Valkyries on this one, but we're heavy on the Super Barbarians.
And a Skeleton Donut, which is nice to watch, really nice, but it's slow. You have to think about that as well. We have the skeletons taking out the Clan Castle, everything going to plan, the merged defense, the ricochet cannon going down as well, and now we have this push starting, going in with the Root Riders all from the top side, trying to push them in from over there. The Queen is on her way on the far right side, and we have this time the Royal Champion combination of the Haze Vial and the Hog Rider Puppet.
Yeah, there's a lot of headhunters in here as well to help with the enemy heroes. We've got the Queen already going to ability here. Now those additional healers will help her continue towards that right-hand side. Ghost has already opened up those walls so she can continue, but she's taking so much damage and goes down pretty early on that right-hand side. He really wanted her to go in and get that scatter shot down.
Yes, the scatter shot is going down, but the same is happening to his Queen. She went down as well, even with the support of those healers. Town Hall luckily went down early on. Not luckily, but like went down early on, which means, well, those Root Riders are gone. I mean, they are tanky. They are doing pretty much everything you could ask for in the game, but they were not tanky enough somehow for this attack.
This is going to be problematic here. Now, he does still have that King ability going off on the left-hand side. World Champion still has her ability as well as she's going through the defenses on the right-hand side. The double skeleton spell to try and distract the defenses. The headhunters as well are actually getting some damage on the King. Is not going to be enough to get it down. World Champion uses her ability, gains some additional hogs. The bomb tower is going to be devastating here. The World Champion will go down alongside with all of those hogs trying to support her. It's all about cleanup, as many buildings, as much as you possibly can get. But unfortunately, with the advantage that Tribe Gaming already have, they're already at 15 stars. This one falling short again. Unfortunately, they were not even able to catch up if this was going to be a triple. But nice try from Ghost.
That's right. Nice try with the Skeleton Donut, but not working out in the end. Not having enough power to get through this course somehow with the Root Riders. Tribe winning this one with a 15 star and an incredible time. I think we'll take a look at the time stats as well in just a second and see what their final average time was actually in this match.
Yeah, I mean, Tribe Gaming, they've been dominating